Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful early morning at the cottage. It's 2 degrees Celsius outside, but it feels like -1, and I'm out here in my pajamas. So I'm gonna make this video quick. I'm gonna get some better lighting. Okay, that's slightly better. So what this video, like the title says, is about is three tips that I have for you guys if you are doing articling applications. Okay, so just first, hold on, sorry, the lighting is so weird. Okay, here we go. So first, what articling is. So before you can actually become a lawyer, you have to do 3 years of law school, and then you have to do at least 10 months, 8 months in pandemic time. But before pandemic, it was 10 months of practical, like, lawyering. You had to work with a supervisor, work with a lawyer who is fully licensed. You provide legal services under their supervision for 10 months. You write the bar exam, or you write the bar exam first and then do your articling. It doesn't matter, but you have to do articling, bar exam, and then you get called to the bar. That's how you become a lawyer in Ontario, in Canada. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I told you guys earlier in the summer that I was applying for articling positions in Toronto because I wasn't successful in Ottawa, which, never mind, it's neither here nor there, because I was successful in Toronto. So 3 tips for how you guys can be successful in the Toronto articling recruit if you are in law school, thinking about going to law school, and know that you need to have an articling position. Okay, so this first thing that I'm going to tell you guys, I actually didn't do, but you should do it. And that is cast a wide net. I only applied to 3 places for articling. I got 3 interviews and I got hired at 1. That is like kind of unheard of, like the least amount of places that people apply to is usually 10. And then one of my friends applied to over 26 places. So cast a wide net because it's very, very competitive in Toronto. The reason I didn't, I think, had to do with the fact that I just didn't know. I had 3 places that I really wanted to apply to here in Toronto. I looked, through the other firms that were hiring, and I just wasn't interested. I'm interested in family law, so there aren't that many full service family law firms as compared to criminal defense or corporate law, right? Like, it's just not as widely practiced, I guess. Of course, there are a lot of family law lawyers, but there's just not a lot of firms that focus specifically on family law. So I applied to one firm that, it's a big firm in Ontario, the biggest family law firm in Ontario. I applied there. I applied to a legal clinic similar to the one that I'm working at, but they help a different type of clientele. And then I also applied to a government position. It's a position called the Office of the Children's Lawyer is the organization. I applied there as well. So those were the 3 listings that I found, the 3 postings that I found that I was interested in. So those were the only ones I applied to. And honestly, because it's a pandemic and we're doing law school from home, everyone's doing most things from home, I didn't have my friends to bounce that idea off of. I didn't have people being like, oh, you should apply to at least 10 places. I was just kind of like, here's the 3 I'm interested in. These are the 3 I'm going to apply to. I think I got, a combination of luck and having the skills to do the job, to impress people in an interview. But yeah, cast a wide net, because if you only apply to 3 places and you don't get any of the 3, of course there are other chances to get an articling position outside of the formal recruit, but now you have to keep going, you have to keep applying and keep trying. So cast a wide net to begin with, and then you just give yourself better chances. I'm lucky it worked out for me that I got one of the 3 that I applied to, but you never know, it may not have. And actually, after I got one of those positions, Matthew, my husband, was like, are you crazy? I thought you were crazy for only applying to 3 places, but I didn't want to say anything because you were already stressed out during the application time. But he was like, you're only applying to 3? Okay. But then it worked out. But don't do that. Apply to more, because then you'll have bigger odds, obviously. Okay. Second thing, and this is something that I did in the Toronto recruit, but I didn't do in the Ottawa recruit. And I think if I had done it for the Ottawa recruit, I would have been more successful. And that is to tailor your cover letter, not to just talk about yourself, your skills, your experience, and what you would bring to the company. You have to use your cover letter to talk about why you want to be hired at that specific firm, that specific clinic, that specific government organization, whatever it is. You have to like extol the organization, really like, you know, talk about what it is about them that attracts you to their office and why you want to apply. I know that sounds obvious, kind of like the first one, but I didn't do that, you know, in my Ottawa applications. In my cover letters, I was just kind of focused on, yeah, you know, here's the skills I have, you know, here's what I could bring to the table. Thanks very much for considering my application. And that's fine, but that doesn't say why I want to work at that specific firm. So, you know, really do your research, go on whatever firm you're applying to, go on their website, because most firms have like a section where they talk about current cases or past big cases that they had. Study up on those so that you can have questions to ask them about it in the interview, or you can bring up something specific about the case in your cover letter that you found interesting, an interesting legal issue they grappled with or whatever. But do that. Find something specifically about the firm itself that you can talk about in the cover letter and also in the interview. Didn't do it for Ottawa, did it for Toronto, and was successful in Toronto. So that's tip number 2. The final tip, and again, might seem totally obvious to people watching this video, but I didn't do it during the Ottawa recruit, but I did do it for the Toronto recruit. Get help from your career development office. That's what their job is. They're there to read your resumes. They're there to read your cover letters. They're there to go over your application packages. So send them to them. Give them enough time to review them. They will, you know, let you know what you need to work on, what looks good. And that's incredibly helpful because that's their job. They've done this before. So, you know, at Osgood, it's called the CDO, the Career Development Office, but at your law school, it might be called something different, probably is, but make use of them because they have really good information. They're great at editing. And honestly, one thing they did for me specifically, I did not know that legal resumes should be 2 pages max. Mine that I applied for in Ottawa, I think was encroaching on 4 pages. It was like right down to 3. So it was almost 4 pages. So a lot of employers, when they see a 3-page resume, they're just going to be like, no, like it has to be 2. I didn't know that before my career development office told me. So, you know, they're just very helpful about things like that, about like formatting, proper formatting of your resume, of your cover letter, which is really important. So that's it, guys. Those are 3 tips that I can give you off the top of my head very early on a Saturday morning in a very chilly but beautiful lake. And sorry guys, I had to get my jacket. It's really cold. My hands are really cold. But anyway, those were my 3 tips for what you can do to be successful in the Toronto articling recruit. It's highly competitive and it's very hard to get any articling position. So, you know, if you already got one, congratulations to you. It's amazing. I feel great that I have one, but don't be discouraged if you don't get anything in the first recruit, because most people don't. And law firms and different law organizations are still hiring, you know, articling people outside of the formal recruit. So, you know, hang in there, share any tips that you have in the comments, or if you have any questions, let me know as well, and I'll do my best to answer. Thanks, guys. See you next time.